Day 101, Angel Island. If you were to go check out the Golden Gate Bridge, which is on the top of everyone's list in San Francisco, and I would highly recommend it. Fair warning, it is not easy to get out there. It's kind of out there. And it's kind of all that's out there at Fort Point, but gotta see it. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous views. And something you got to do, because sometimes people like to walk across it because you can't walk across the Bay Bridge, and there's not very many bridges you can walk across. Certainly not as iconic as the Golden Gate. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that if you were to make it to that corner of San Francisco and you were to look out, you'd see the Marin Headlands. You would see, sometimes from certain points, you would see Alcatraz, which is very small, but you'd also see Angel Island, which is the largest natural island in the San Francisco Bay. I believe it is almost 800 acres, like 750 acres about, as opposed to Alcatraz's 22. Alcatraz is that small, and it's also really close to the shore. It's not far at all. But Angel Island is a little bit more out there. One of the reasons why Angel Island is so big is because 10,000 years ago, it was one landmass that was still connected to the Marin Headlands, and then it broke off. So that's one reason why Angel Island is so big. In the modern day, and kind of how Angel Island was introduced to me, was Angel Island is known as the Ellis Island of the West. So it was an immigration processing center, predominantly or primarily for Asian immigrants. About 1 million Asian immigrants were processed out of Angel Island Center, out of the Angel Island Immigration Center. And this pretty much followed on the backs of the Chinese Exclusion Act, 1882, which San Francisco and the racism going on in Chinatown played a huge role in the passage of that, which before the Muslim ban was the only law that targeted, American law that targeted a specific ethnic group. Okay, shameful time in San Francisco, United States history. But I was doing my research about Angel Island, which it's a really popular camping location. It's a place to go and do a day trip, like a day or 2 days trip. That's kind of how it's known in the modern day, or kind of how I knew Angel Island growing up. Huge military history. Actually, the US had an outpost there where they would go, and that's where they had their little outpost before they would go and kill Indians, kill Native Americans. I forgot the term that they used to make it seem nicer, the campaigns that they had against the indigenous Americans. But the treatment of the immigrants on Angel Island, my understanding is that it was very different and more humiliating than the treatment on Ellis Island on the East Coast, which dealt with white people. I was reading things from people would be kept there anywhere from like 2 weeks to several months. Depending on your situation, you were subjected to things like stool samples, and they wanted to see if you had parasites. Literally, it was like insanely racist and humiliating degradation. Like, they disinfected people. They made you prove that you had a husband, or I think you had to leave. You had to actually be married. A husband or a father was the only way that you would be allowed to get on the mainland, because again, Chinese Exclusion Act, Chinese people are not allowed to enter the United States. So they were kept in these little concentration camps. That's what they were. So anyway, that's Angel Island, also known as the Ellis Island of the West. If you visit Alcatraz, if you visit Sausalito, or not Alcatraz, but Golden Gate Bridge, Sausalito, that whole little area, you will absolutely see Angel Island, and you might even want to visit. I don't think I've visited. I don't know that I've been on Angel Island, actually, but it's things you do right in your own backyard that you miss out on.